What's good, y'all? Welcome to POC3. I'm Khalid. I'm a junior. He, him pronouns. I identify as Arab, Asian, American.
I'm Hermona. I'm also a junior. I use she, her pronouns, and I identify as Black and Tagaru.
Hi guys, I'm Paris. I'm also a junior and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm half Black, half Korean or biracial. So welcome back, guys. And tonight is our fourth episode, so we'll be randomly choosing our MC, like always, with our wheel game, and then we'll sort of get to our discussion. We're not gonna do a main game for this episode because we wanted to make sure that we had enough time to talk about our topic because it's sort of a heavy one. Okay, not sort of, it's really like a heavy one, but Khalid, if you want to screen share for the wheel, and then we'll see who our MC is.
Okay. You ready?
It's me, I'm moving. I called it.
I had a feeling it was going to be me.
I keep telling y'all it's not gonna be me.
Khalid has literally avoided this, like.
I know, what is this? It's like
It's
us
the
back
fourth
and forth.
episode.
Every time we're giving him like 4 pieces, and then Hermona and I are sharing one.
Okay,
It's okay.
well,
Even then,
it would probably still land on me or something, but sorry, go ahead.
Okay, well, hi guys. Like I already said, my name is Hermona, and I'll try my best to lead tonight's episode. But for our live audience, one of the POC3 members will be keeping an eye on the chat. So feel free to type anything while you watch, as long as it's not offensive. And like we said before, this topic is very personal for us, and we'll be sharing our honest thoughts and opinions. But to be clear, we do not represent every POC student or community, and it's just us speaking as individuals. So the three of us wanted to fully dedicate this episode to talking about the recent killing of Daunte Wright and police brutality in general as an issue, because it has definitely become a frustrating problem in America, and it's unfortunate that we have to be repeatedly bringing this topic up. And just for a little overview, for those who don't know already, Daunte Wright was a 20-year-old father who was pulled over on Sunday night due to an expired registration tag. And this led to officers seeing that he had an outstanding warrant for arrest. And as they attempted to arrest him, one of the officers shot Daunte Wright, and the officer claimed that she meant to use her taser rather than her gun, but Mr. Wright passed away shortly after he was shot. So that was a brief summary of what happened on April 11th. And just for your information, we got that all from CNN and New York Times. But we highly recommend you guys to do your research about these incidents as well. So for our first question is, what were your first thoughts after reading or hearing about this issue?
For me, I think it's just like the same thing I've always felt whenever something like this happens, just like anger at like the system and just um, yeah, just like overall like sadness and confusion, you know, over like how we're supposed to trust a system like this that is in place when it's failed people so many times. So, yeah.
I agree, and I was just so shocked to hear that like the officer had like supposedly 26 years of experience or something. I was like, how does an officer for nearly 30 years mistaken or supposedly mistaken a taser for a gun? Like, and clearly the difference was like literally a matter of life and death. Like, and then of course she goes on to like resign from her job. Like, I guess that's it. Like, you just lose your job and then you go about your life. But like, for that family, it's just like they literally like. Sorry, I don't even know what I'm saying, but like.
No, it makes sense.
Basically, she's just going about her life, but like, what's done is done.
I feel like for me, it's so sad, especially when the person who died was a parent, just because it's like you're losing your own life, and you're also, like Paris said, it's taking somebody's life away from their family and then from a child. And in this situation, like his kid was so young, like they haven't even gotten a chance to know him, and so it's like really sad. But like Khalid said, this happens so much, it's like it's just the same feeling over and over and over.
And Colin, weren't you saying that like he was literally unarmed, but like he was supposedly carrying a firearm in his car, but even that was like legal. So
That was Karen Nazario. So, but
okay.
then Daunte Wright, he had like there's like a photo of him with a firearm, and then it's just weird because like these right-winged people or like Republicans will be like, oh, look at him, like this guy had a gun, like he wasn't all like such like a peaceful guy or whatever, and it's like the same people are like, oh, like Second Amendment right, like come on guys, like we should all be able to own guns. I mean, Dante Wright did have it illegally, but that still doesn't, of course, justify killing him, and that wasn't even the reason why they had a. If you guys didn't know, there was like a warrant out for his arrest at the time, and people are like, oh, well, like he had a illegal firearm that they were going to arrest him for, when it was actually for I forgot specifically what it was, but it wasn't for that. And so it's just, I don't know, to me it's just so weird, like people making all these claims but they don't even try to educate themselves first, um, before making such high claims or making such proclamations. And it's just, I think that's a thing in general that happens, whenever this sort of event happens, that there's just a spread of misinformation, and yeah, it just makes it bad for everybody, in terms of perception of the event and how people feel, you know.
I think it's really sorry, were you done?
Yeah.
I think it's really convenient how they like to or like politicians like to sort of like use different reasoning, like you said, like they're like, oh, he had a gun like illegally, like he's a criminal, like he's not all like a good guy basically. But then like if some other white guy gets in trouble for like a shooting or something, that like, oh, he had mental problems, or like, oh, it's because of video games, violent video games. Like what are all these excuses
Mm.
coming from, honestly? Like it's just really frustrating to see how they favor certain like people basically, and for the same crimes, or like even worse.
Yeah, like another example is like the Kenosha shooter who also like had that firearm illegally, and then these like people, they're like, oh, if there's like a defense fund for him, like I'll definitely like help or whatever. It's just like that's just like so disgusting. Like, are you serious? Like,
It just makes me so uncomfortable. It's like, and it's like Seattle's obviously or Washington in general is a liberal state, but like Seattle's one of the whitest cities in the state. Like it doesn't, I guess being a liberal state doesn't mean too much because I still feel uncomfortable around like all the white neighborhoods, I guess.
I also feel like when any incident like this happens revolving around police brutality, there's always like different labels for people. So like, for example, the one in the Kenosha shooting with like Kyle Rittenhouse, like I feel like whenever it has to do with white people, they always like kind of frame it as like, oh, they just had a bad day, or this happened, or blah blah blah. But then if it's anybody who's a person of color, even if they didn't do anything wrong, it's always like, oh, they're a criminal or a thug or a terrorist and things like that. And so it's just crazy the way that um, people kind of frame stories.
Yeah, they're always like, like this neighborhood's like from the ghetto or like in the hood or like, and then like they're like all the people from that area is basically like a thug criminal doing drugs, something. It's like if you label that area and those people like that, then it's like everybody's gonna have that idea in their head, even if it's not that way. So it's like misusing the media, basically.
And we kind of like we kind of went over a lot of this stuff, but I guess what coverage have you guys seen about this incident in the media?
Oh, well, let me clarify a little bit. I don't um I don't think it's the photo of him with the firearm um that he wasn't what I said earlier about the warrant out for his arrest. It was like how people talk about there was this incident before how he like robbed a woman at gunpoint, Daunte Wright, and choked her, I think, something like that. And then people are like, oh, well, there was a warrant out for his arrest for that. But then it's like, in actuality, it's like he already went to jail for that, and then he posted bond for that. So I don't know. It's just like, oh, well, like they're looking to arrest him for this, but it's like he was already arrested for that. And then, like I said, like even then, like even if that was like what they were looking to arrest him for, it's like in no way should that be like means of justification of killing somebody.
What I saw, or like the first thing that I saw, was the body cam of like the officer, and like there's a lot of them. I think like there wasn't just that one officer that shot him. It was like a bunch of them like crowding his car, and then they were all just sort of yelling at him and stuff. And like I think he tried to get back into his car and stuff, and then she pulled a gun and shot him, and was like, you could hear her voice. She's like, oh my god, I shot him. Like I just don't get it, honestly. Like how are you gonna how are you gonna shoot someone and be like, oh my god, I shot them? Like, why don't you call for help?
The first thing I saw when I like heard about Daunte Wright the first day was a photo of him and his kid. And I brought up this earlier about the family thing, but again, it's just so sad to see stuff when it's like pictures of family, because it's like you go from like seeing that person every day to not being able to see them ever again, which is so sad. And then to have that on film and people are spreading that online, that must be so hard for the family to have to deal with, even though it's like helping their son get justice, and or whoever he is, not son, but son, boyfriend, dad, whatever. And then I saw the video and I was talking to my cousin about this in general, about how it's like it's hard sometimes to watch videos of police brutality, just because it's like, especially when it affects people that look like you, because I don't know how to put it into words, but it's just a hard thing to watch. It's really hard.
Yeah, like I think I know what you mean. Like whenever, like when I saw like the like videos of like Asian people being discriminated against, it's just like kind of hits close to home a little bit because like that could be like my mom or that could be like my cousins. So it's just like I know what you mean. Like it's like a little more personal.
Mhm.
And then it just sort of makes me feel like nervous, or not nervous, but just like really uncomfortable around like even the police in our area, and like just Seattle police in general. Like I was telling Hermona, like even when I see them like in the grocery store or something, like normally I'm like, I just like feel uncomfortable and I try to go somewhere else because I'm like, I just don't know what's gonna happen anymore. They're over here killing people like in broad daylight for nothing. So, but Colin, weren't you talking about how Daunte Wright was actually connected to like, or his teacher?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna bring it up when like Hermona was talking about how it's like like it's like they kill like a father, friend, son. It's like so pretty much I think this was um the person who said this was Daunte Wright's aunt outside of it was at like a press conference, I think, outside of the George Floyd trial. She said that George Floyd's girlfriend was or is or was Dante Wright's teacher. And there's also like other examples of this with victims of police brutality. Like we were talking about this earlier, us three. Like Fred Hampton, if you guys don't know, was like a member of the Black Panther Party back in this day, and he did a lot back then. Was his mother babysat Emmett Till, and also um, Karan Nazario, Karen Nazario, I think, right? That's how you pronounce it. His name. Um, I think we're gonna show the video later of that, right? If you guys don't know, he is like a lieutenant who got pulled over at a gas station and was pepper sprayed, and we'll talk about it more later. But his cousin was Eric Gardner, so it's just like it's not just like destroying like families, it's also like destroying communities and like community figures. And it's just really sad to see like they're like tearing communities like from person to person. And you know,
It just like doesn't feel like protection anymore, which is what the police force is supposed to be doing. Like it feels almost the opposite, like unsafe, I guess. Like I don't feel safe around cops. Like I feel uncomfortable now. Not like I just don't know what's gonna happen.
I was talking to Paris earlier, and I've said this like a lot of times before in the past few months or even in the past year. Like if I'm in a situation where I need help, it's like I don't even know if I want to call 911 because I know that all these things happen to Black people who look like me in Seattle and all over the world and stuff like that. And so it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I think the way that I view the police has definitely changed in the past couple of years. And obviously that comes with like maturing and growing up and understanding how like the prison system, police system, all that stuff works. And I know that Khalid mentioned Karen Nazario, and we had a video to show about that. So, sorry, he is a Black and Latino veteran who was. Oh, can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay, sorry, my thing was tweaking. I wasn't sure if you could hear. Sorry. So basically, this is a video with some footage of an interaction that he had with the police recently.
Let me know if you guys like can't hear when I start playing it.
Why he was being pulled over. According to his lawsuit, he slowed down and put his blinker on, indicating his intention to pull over, but didn't do so for another minute and 40 seconds, which he later explained was in order to find a well-lit area.
Driver, roll the window down. Put your hands out the window. Turn the vehicle off. Put your hands out the window.
Hearing these different commands while sitting in his car with his seatbelt on, Nazario began recording from his own cell phone and put his hands out the window as ordered. Turns out, Officer Daniel Crocker had not seen the temporary license plate taped to the back window of Nazario's brand new Chevrolet Tahoe.
Wait, sorry, I just wanted to pause real quick. One, to let it catch up because you can see that it's buffering, but two, Hermona and I watched this actually earlier, and we were just saying like, so he pulled him over supposedly because there like wasn't a license, right? And like he didn't see that the paper license, like when you buy a new car, like you have to get the paper license first, right? So it's in the window, and you can already see that the cop has his gun drawn. Like, what are you drawing a gun for about a license? Like, it's funny but not funny. Like, he's already yelling at him. He's already got his gun drawn, like yelling him to get out the car. Like, it's just, you can't imagine this. Imagine him doing the same sort of stuff if he was pulling over like a white guy or something. Hopefully it'll stop buffering now. I just wanted to say that.
and seeing tinted windows and a driver not stopping right away, Crocker decided it was a high-risk traffic stop. But this was never explained to Nazario, who for several minutes continued to ask why he'd been pulled over.
What's going on? How many occupants are in your vehicle? It's only myself. Why are your weapons drawn? What's going on? Get out of the car now! I'm serving this country and this is how I'm treated? Yo, what? Guess what? I'm a veteran too. I know to obey. Get out of the car!
Body camera footage shows Officer Joe Gutierrez, gun drawn, unfastening the Velcro around what may be his taser at this time.
What's going on? What's going on? You're fixing to ride the lightning, son.
The lawsuit says Nazario thought ride the lightning meant he could be killed.
I'm honestly afraid to get out. Can I? Yeah, you should be. Get out now. I have not committed any crimes. You're being stopped by traffic violation. You're not cooperating at this point right now. You're under arrest. You're being detained. Okay, you're being detained for a traffic violation. I do not have to get out the vehicle. You haven't even told me why I'm being stopped.
About 2 to 3 minutes in, Officer Crocker tried to open the driver's door. In his report, he wrote, quote, "When I attempted to unlock and open the driver's door, the driver assaulted myself by striking my hand away and pulled away from Officer Gutierrez's grip." But in his own body camera footage, Nazario is not seen striking anyone. Crocker's report also says that at this point, Gutierrez, quote, "gave several more commands to comply with orders or he would be sprayed with his OC spray, but no such warnings could be heard." Gutierrez just sprayed Nazario, still without either officer having told Nazario what exactly he was pulled over for.
That's up. That's the car now. I don't even want to reach my seatbelt. Can you take your seatbelt off and get out of the car? You made this way more difficult than it had to be. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Please talk to me. Get on the ground now. Can you please talk to me about what's going on? Why am I being treated like this? Why? I'm not cooperating. Get on the ground. Lay down, you need to stay.
The officers handcuffed Nazario, then stood him back up. He told them his dog was in the back seat and was choking from the pepper spray. Medics arrived and the conversation mellowed.
What would have been a 2-minute traffic stop turned into all this?
Nazario explained why he didn't immediately pull over.
I was pulling over to a younger area for my safety and yours. I have respect for law enforcement.
But Gutierrez said that wasn't the problem.
The president, what the media is spewing with the race relations between minorities and law enforcement, I get it, okay? So like I told you, as far as you not stopping and Gutierrez comfortable and you want to roll the spot, because that happens all the time. It happens to be a lot. And it's 80% of the time, not always, 80% of the time, that's a minority.
And while the officers couldn't understand why Nazario didn't get out of the car as instructed,
Why would you comply?
Nazario said he didn't know why he was being stopped.
I've never looked out the window and saw a gun blazing immediately.
Gutierrez eventually told Nazario that he had a conversation with the chief of police and was giving him the option to let this all go.
There's no need getting this on your record. I don't want your record. However, this is how it is for you. If you want to fight and argue, I don't mean disrespectfully, okay? I mean, you have that right as a citizen. If that's what you want, we'll charge you. It doesn't change my life one way or the way.
You just heard him say it doesn't change his life either way. That was Officer Joe Gutierrez, who has since been fired. CNN has not yet.
Okay, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I was gonna just say, I know like one of the questions we did earlier was kind of like, what were your first reactions after watching that? And I kind of just wanted to say, like, when I watched that earlier today for the first time, and I was talking to Paris about it, but we were kind of talking about how he's being held at gunpoint, being pepper sprayed, asked to do all these things while being like yelled at. And it's all happening so fast all at once. And the police are just like expecting him. And in so many other situations too, they just expect these people to be like calm and like just follow the orders when it's like, you're first off confused what's going on. And then you have to like orient yourself in the situation. I don't know. It's just like, it seems so crazy to be in.
It's like, like Ramona said, we watched it earlier today and we were like reacting like on the spot. We were like Ramona said, there's like all these commands and yelling and stuff. And like, if I was put in that position, I would literally be freaking out. Like, I would not have been as calm as that guy. And I would be so confused what's going on. And like, thinking about like what I did wrong, but they're over here just like yelling, and like when a gun is pointed at you, like that is so scary. Probably I've never obviously been in that situation, but that's probably so freaking scary.
I think since um sorry, how do you say his first name again?
It's is it Karen? I don't think it's Karen.
I think
Karan.
it's
Karan.
Karin.
Karin?
Karin Nazario.
Karin Nazario, if you couldn't tell or if you didn't notice, is in the army. He's a lieutenant. So he's like a little bit used to these like kind of feel like he was trained for these high pressure situations a little bit since he's in the army and that's kind of like the state of like going to war and stuff or being in battle is kind of preparing yourself for those high pressure situations. So I feel like that kind of like helped him in like being a little calm. But like if it isn't somebody who isn't trained in that situation, which is most civilians, um, you know, I don't get how, like Carmona was saying, like you expect him to be calm, and we see that all the time where like people aren't calm because obviously they're in a state of confusion and panic, like they don't know what to do, and then we see the result of it is a lot of times them being shot or murdered, and it's just um frustrating to like think about like how police officers the um get to be like get to panic and act on instinct, and like they always say like, oh well, the officer was just scared in the situation and did what thought was best, and it's just like, why wasn't this in their training, or why wasn't like why aren't I thought they were supposed to be trained in in these situations, like, that's literally their whole job, and to turn around and be like, "Oh, well, like, they were scared," when, like, it's just it's just so weird, like, I don't know, it just does not allow me to put that much trust into the police when handling situations like that.
No, I agree. Like when you said how they're always like, I'm scared, or like I was feeling threatened, like you're over here holding the gun. Like I'm scared. Like why would the cop feel scared first of all? But I guess they're just scared of like whatever's going through their head. But also the thing about the training, like after these incidents happen, they're always like, oh, we'll put more money towards training. We'll increase the training, we'll increase the security, whatever. And then it happens again. So I'm like, how much training do you need? Like, how much time do you need? Like, it's not really, I was telling Hermana, it's not really a training thing at this point. It's just like a bias thing. Like, you just get scared because of how they look.
I was also going to say, I noticed that in a lot of situations, the police act like the victim once they get like a lot of backlash from the media and stuff like that. They're just like, oh, like I didn't know, or oh, whatever they say. But it's like that's your job. You should know what you're doing in every situation, in every possible situation. Um, and I was also going to say something I was talking about earlier was, or not in this discussion, but like before this, was about how like police typically, even though like things happen, police typically look at people who serve in the army or like veterans, and they like respect like their position and what they did serving the country. And in the video he was like, I served the country and like this is what I get. And I feel like if it was a white man in this position, the situation would have been drastically different.
Yeah, I was telling Hermona how this dude, like, not only did he serve in the army, but it's like, I feel like veterans, when they go walking around, they don't always go walking around like in their uniform and stuff. Like, they look like normal people, basically. But this dude was like in his full army, like, outfit and clothing, whatever you want to call it. Like, you could tell that he was really like serving the country, and not saying like people who aren't in the army like should be treated this way either. But it's like even more ironic, I guess, that this dude is literally fighting for the country and then gets the same treatment. It's just like sort of how there's stories of like Black celebrities that have actually been treated the same way too. It's like it just doesn't even matter almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that reminds me of this story. I forgot what NBA player it was, but he was playing for, I want to say the Portland Trailblazers at the time, and he was driving towards the stadium to go play. And I think he had like his nephews in the back or his kids in the back, and he was pulled over. And then the officer was like, um, I don't know, doing the usual like I think he held the player at gunpoint. I forgot his name, but I'll look it up later. And then he's like, oh, license and registration and stuff. And then he acted like super aggressive and stuff at first. And he went to like go check the license and registration and then came back like, oh, like my bad. I didn't know you were this NBA player or whatever. Like, oh, like go play at the game or whatever. And it's just like like that's so bad. That's just so bad. I don't even know like how to describe that. Like,
It's like, unless you're basically have some crazy talent or you're some athlete, star athlete or something, and it's like even those people are getting mistreated, then like you basically don't matter to them. Like, and then yeah, all these incidents happen, and then they lose their job or something, or they get fined or something, and then they just go about their life. Like I said before, but
I haven't heard about the thing you guys were just talking about, but that sounds interesting. I want to read into it.
I feel like it was a couple NBA players.
yeah, like
Yeah, I'm not even surprised if it was.
yeah, like I remember when um like the NBA was playing in like the bubble or whatever. It's like the little quarantine thing. It was last year in the summer around, and there is I think this happened after the George Floyd shooting. I don't remember when it was, or it might have been. I don't remember, but there was a case of police brutality, and then on that day was when they're gonna play games in the bubble or in the NBA, and then the Milwaukee Bucks, one of the teams, they like boycotted the game, and then a lot of NBA teams followed, and then with that, some players from the Milwaukee Bucks came forward. It's like, oh, um, I've been a victim of racial profiling multiple times and stuff like this. So it's like, it even if you are like an NBA player, it's like until they know that you're an NBA player, it's just like, it's just they think like all black people are just or they just racially profile all black people.
Yeah, I was telling oh sorry, Herman, did you want to go?
No, I was gonna say something kind of unrelated, so you can go.
Me too. I was really about to switch up the topic, but I was just gonna say on Netflix, I was telling Hermana that I saw like it was sort of a short film or something that like got an Oscar. It was like called Two Distant Two Distant Stars or something distant, and it was basically about this black guy who like gets his life replayed over and over. If you guys like sort of know that like when you die and then like you start the day over or something. Thank you, Two Distant Strangers. Um, and then so he wakes up and like leaves his house or whatever, and then like he bumps into this guy, and then there's a cop nearby, and then basically things escalate, and then he gets shot. And then he starts the day over again, and like no matter what he tries to do or like what he tries to change, like he always runs into the cop basically. I feel like there's a lot of films like that actually. But yeah.
I know which one you're talking about. Um, I just remember like it's like there's this in the trailer. It's like the guy bumped into this guy and then like spilled his coffee all over, and then
Yeah.
they're arguing, and then the cop um started yeah or shot him, and then it's like wake up the next day, and then like he slightly missed or like he missed the guy that he bumped before to spill the coffee, and then somehow he still got shot. So yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I've never seen that either. Now it's about to be at the top of my movie list. I need to watch it.
No, Hermana, I already added it to our Netflix account. So no, I basically vouch out for Ramon's Netflix.
I forgot what the phrase you said called was, but I was gonna say something related to it.
Racial
Talking
profiling?
yeah, about racial profiling, about how there's this saying like driving while black that was made, and it's basically like a play on driving while intoxicated, and it's how like police officers when they see black drivers are like racial profiling them or whatever. I don't know if that's the proper definition, somebody can fact check me, but it's something along those lines. And I was thinking about that just because like I'm learning how to drive now. I know I'm like so late, I don't even have my license yet, but like things like that, like I never want to be stopped by the cops in my whole life. Like that's probably one of my biggest fears, just because, and I know I'm like smiling right now, but it's actually not funny at all. Like I have no idea what would happen. And I wanted to bring that up, even though it was kind of unrelated, because we were talking about racial profiling.
No, I feel like that was good. Like when you're in the car and stuff. Like now that we're of age where we of age with the where we are old enough to like drive and stuff, it's like that is also one of my worst fears. Like I get so nervous when a cop is like behind me on the freeway or something. Like I'll literally drop to 30 miles per hour. I don't even care. Like just if you give them any excuse to like pull you over or something, it's like it can just ruin your day or worse, you know? And it's like you don't know what'll happen.
And sorry, another thing, this is also kind of going a little bit off topic of police brutality, but also talking about like black problems basically in like the healthcare world. People, there was like a study where people thought that black people felt less pain or something like that, and the study was like recently, like in the past couple of years. And I got a private chat about this, about organ donation, which is why I wanted to bring it up, because like you know how when you get your license you have an option to be an organ donor. Like when I was in driver's ed, they would show videos being like oh my god, like you could save a person's life, which is so true, like obviously. But I cannot be an organ donor. Like that's like another thing that I cannot do, because I don't know if I'm like in a high risk situation, if they'll just be like, oh, we'll just let her die because she's an organ donor and she has all these things that we can give to somebody, or I don't know. There's a lot of what if situations, and I wanted to bring up organ donation.
Yeah, I remember checking off that box too. I think I did it because I like read something earlier that was like you should. That's a whole nother story, but like about choosing whether to be an organ donor or not. But this is sort of slightly off topic, but still on topic. Sort of recently, actually, my dad and I were driving. This is just a short story. It's not super like intense, but my dad was driving me back from my basketball practice, and it was at night, I think, but it was like still light out, and we drove by this two cops, and they were both like parked sort of like, you know how cops park like to take a break, sort of like, you know, that they're just like chilling. And then as soon as we drove by them, both of them literally like started their engines and literally like started following us, and like taking all the same turns, like all down the hill, everywhere, like all these same turns, and then like onto the freeway. And my dad was like the whole time, he was like, these cops are following us. I was like, you're being paranoid. I was like, why would they like randomly follow us? Like, first of all, our windows are like kind of tinted, just because they're tinted. But I was like, how the heck would they like even know that you're black and stuff? And he was like, why are they just like randomly coming after us when they were like chilling back there? And then they didn't follow us home all the way home, obviously, because we had to go on the freeway, but like they followed us all the way onto the freeway, which was like for a fat minute. So I was like not scared, but I was like, what the heck is going on? Like two cop cars following us. I was like, what the?
Exactly. It makes you feel like you're doing something wrong when you guys were just, you were just living life, going about your day.
Going to
And you
McDonald's.
just ruined it.
Literally
Exactly.
eating my fries, and then two cop cars just decided to come after us. I'm like, what the? It's like funny, but not funny. I'm laughing, but it's not funny.
I've actually had a situation while driving, not like a police pulling me over, but something similar. And you can come to your own conclusions about why it is that this happened, but pretty much, uh, um, this was during the summer, and I'd gotten my license about a month ago in July. This was in August, I think, or September. Apologies if you can hear my brother in the background. Earlier, he kind of came into my room and interrupted. But, anyways, so um, I kind of my I've been driving for around a month now, and if you guys know the law in Washington for minors driving, you can't drive other minors until you have 6 months of driving. So, admittedly, I did have some friends in my car who were minors, and I didn't have my 6 months. But, anyways, I was driving with them, having a little fun, I guess. And then we went to one of our friends' house to just like meet up with them or something. And then I like playing my music loud. I love listening to my music, and I drove into that neighborhood a little fast, I will admit. But anyways, I was like going to go out of the neighborhood, and then this lady who was like in her front yard or whatever, she's like middle aged, probably. She came to my car and she's like, "Oh, like you're driving like really fast in my neighborhood." She's acting like I was going 50 miles per hour. I was not. Um, and it's like you're blasting your music so loud, and it's just you're such a like I don't know, such a disturbance or whatever. I was like, okay, like I apologize, ma'am, like I won't do it again, whatever. Um, and then so I went about my day, or we drove off, whatever. And then our friend who is like lives in that neighborhood, they're like, oh yeah, like come back, or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. So like for this thing. So then we came back, and then like I was leaving to go out of the neighborhood, and this lady's like literally like running up to my car with like screaming at us, like recording my car or whatever. And I don't know. Uh, Two of my friends in the car. One of them he's Dominican, I think, and then the other friend's Colombian, and then I have one more friend who is white. And obviously me, like I said at the beginning of the episode, Asian Arab. So I don't know. Draw the conclusion you want. Anyways, we left, and then I did come back a third time at night because I she was pushing my buttons a little bit, so I kind of wanted to like make her mad a little bit, which is my fault. Admittedly, that was kind of a stupid decision. But anyways, I like turned off my lights on my car and I entered the neighborhood. I muted my music, and all of a sudden I just started playing it loud, and then I drove off. And then one our friend who lives across from this person, they recorded the lady's husband running down the stairs of a baseball bat, and I'm like, okay, like that's so great. That's so great. And then I was driving with my friends, and I get a call from my parents like, "Oh, the police are at our house." I'm like, "Are you serious? Like, what? Like, what even happened?" And then I get home, and then the officers are like, "Oh yeah, we got this complaint from this lady that you're driving fast or whatever, and like playing your music loud." And then the only reason that they were really there was because I was didn't have my 6 months and driving other minors. But they're even like, oh yeah, we like really don't care if you're driving fast or like playing your music. Like it's just really the fact that you have other minors in the car. And like obviously the lady doesn't know that I have or don't have 6 months. It's like, I don't know. Like come to your own conclusion about how that happened, but that's my story. And I know that was kind of long, so I apologize.
I was just gonna say, I remember hearing that when you were telling us about it when it first happened, and I was like, what? Because sometimes people just do the
Yeah.
extreme, and not, it was killing me when you were doing little confessions. You're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but
Yeah, but the thing is, right? Like, I'm obviously at the age where like we kind of do stupid things, and it's like I don't know how you're about to like call the police on some like 16-year-olds who like are probably not gonna do anything to you. Like, like I don't know what threat I pose to this lady that is like troubling her so much. So it was just a little weird.
It's like the only real trouble or disturbance to them is really just like the fact that we're there almost. It's just like being a person of color is just a disturbance, basically. Like they'll find any excuse to call the police or something. Like all those other cases where it's like a white person calls the police on literally like a POC minding their business. Like I think I saw one, it was like this guy was like bird watching or something at a park, and this lady like with her dog was literally going crazy, like this black man is like assaulting me, like, and like talking on the phone to police, and we're just like, what is going on? Like this dude is minding his business. Like
Yeah, I remember that. Like the guy just like told that lady that like she needs to put her dog on a leash because that was like the rule of the park. Like that was literally the law. And the guy was like 6 feet away from her because like this is during the pandemic, or during lockdown. And then the lady was like on the phone. I remember like watching the video, like literally like 6 feet away from the dude, like, oh, he's assaulting me like right now and stuff. Like he's has his hands on me. Like, what are you?
to me. Like if that
It
ever
should,
happened to me, like the the POC like in these videos are so calm. Like I would literally be so pissed off, like so pissed off.
yeah, and I think like I just want to say like that lady like knew what she was doing. Like she knew that like the police will automatically take her side, so that's why she said that. And it just like goes to show like how like I don't know, systemic or like like how normal it is for this sort of thing for police to think that sort of thing.
I was also gonna say the ones that we've heard about are the ones that are on camera or like that we have recordings of, but this has probably happened so many more times off camera. Like this is probably way more common than we think and like happened to people that we know. So it's just it's so annoying. Like it's so frustrating to watch the videos too because it's like I'm always like, if that was me, I would do this. But I'd probably just be like, what's going on?
I would have been so pissed off. I would have told them off. I would have probably been crying. I would have probably been like,
No, honestly though, like I would probably be crying too.
I'd probably be a mess. But it's like this is the last thing I'll say because like it's getting late. But
Yeah.
like just feeling wise, like it's just so frustrating, like Colin said. And then like we got to go back to school, and honestly, like our school being like majority white and stuff, it's just like that's it doesn't make it better, I guess. And like and then we go back to our classes and our teachers are like acting like everything's normal and like just teaching class like it's normal and stuff. And it's like none is it's just the majority of the school literally can go about their lives like without even thinking about it.
Exactly. I think that's a good place to end. Thanks for saying that, Paris. I know that we were kind of going off topic towards the end and just started telling like our personal experiences and stories and stuff. But that's going to be all the time we have for tonight. And the three of us want to thank everyone for coming because we enjoyed this discussion. But we hope that after this, everyone continues to stay aware about these types of issues that deeply affect POC communities. And again, we said this in our video that we posted on our Instagram, but if you guys need anyone to talk to or anything like that, you can always message us. Our DMs are always open. If you'd like to learn more about Daunte Wright and how to support his family, please check out our resource posts on our Instagram and continue the research on your own, of course. This weekend, like usual, our YouTube channel POC3 will upload the recording of this, and we will also, and we also recently released our first vlog when we got together to celebrate Khaled's birthday. So make sure you subscribe to our channel to watch our content and stay updated. I think our socials are being put in the chat, or we're just put in the chat. But
Well, um, like Ramona said, educate yourself, before you come to any conclusions, know all the facts. And again, I'm Khalid,
I'm Hermona.
I'm Paris.
and we're out.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Oh my god, I wanted so bad to say, and you're watching Disney Channel. I wanted to say that so bad. But I was like, that's gonna kill the mood.
Not the Disney Channel.
And you dun, 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 dun. Oh, I'm still recording. Hold on.
We gotta be like, Len, cut this footage out.
Lennon, cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut that out, Quavo. Just kidding.
Hey, Jay.
Teacher, did you want to say something?
I can't tell if she's here
Yeah,
or if it's kind of sitting.
Yeah, maybe she's like away from her computer and then she's like, whatever. I thought we were gonna end the meeting.
Yeah, let's just end it.
Wait, but I wanted us to talk. Should I just kick her out? Oh, she said I'm ready. Okay, I'll try to kick you out.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you, Isha. All right.
She said I'm ready.
Guys, I was tweaking at the
You
beginning.
were so good, guys. I felt like that was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
I actually
that.
really liked it, guys.
It felt.
Yeah, I think it was like kind of nice, like I don't know, like not being like having a guest and just like
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know, talking about ourselves a little bit
It
or
felt
our
good.
opinion.
Not to be rushed, like
Yeah.
the game or thinking about our guests and all
Yeah.
Oh, how long was I talking about that story? I felt like that was like a century.
that. A minute, not gonna lie.
Me and
Yeah.
Paris texted each other the same thing in the chat when you were like, what did you say? You were like talking about how like the law, you can't have friends there or something.
Yeah.
And we were like, not the confessions. We said that at the same time.
And Paris said, not the confession. And then I said, not the confession. LOL. And then I was like, shut up. Because we said the same thing and I was about to start laughing.
When you saw me laugh, that is why. Because I was like, Hermona and I were having the same thoughts.
Exactly. Guys, that was so good. I really liked that.
Wait. We need to take a picture for Jasmine to post.
Wait, sorry, give me like 1 second. I just want to see what I look like with the inverted camera.
No, because then you're going to be like, Dad, take a picture of me.
No, because my hair is not even like curly.
Wait,
So
let me.
Colin, you
Wait,
gotta.
what are you guys doing?
Hmm?
Like, should I be like, or should I just?
Because I have to put my hand on the thing, but you guys can do whatever. I didn't get it! I missed! Hermona, get in the camera so I can take a picture.
Oh my gosh, also I stuffed my freaking little stuffed animal so it looks like a person is laying there.
Mine are in my hamper.
Not
They're
even-
just like I just like saw that you could like see my like clothes and stuff in the bag, and I remember I was just like midway through the episode I was just like this, like turn my camera.
Got it.
I was just like, yeah, let me real quick.
My desk is so, oh my gosh, guys, my laptop is here. Look at everything that's on my desk. Okay, sorry, photo time. Oh my god.
I like-
Oh my god, no, please do not use that.
I like you could see like Paris taking the photos.
Oh, I'll use my other hand. Okay, is that better?
Whatever. I wasn't saying it was bad, but
Shoot.
Ew, I look so.
you look fine.
Oh, I thought you guys already took it.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Just stay still for like 5 seconds so I can take a bunch.
Ready?
Okay. God.
Oh my god, but guys, I haven't smiled in so long. I forgot how to smile.
What? I'm ending the recording.
All summer and after fall,